Welcome to Rise by Sarabjit Singh.
Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we will be talking about 13 important principles of good clinical practices. So why we wanted to discuss these? Because not only these principles help you at time of interview, but ultimately when you are doing your clinical research job, then also they are going to help you. Now let's understand each principle in detail. So first principle of GCP is, total overall 13 principle hai. First principle is that you should do the clinical research, you should do the research as per ethical principle. What do you mean by ethical? And they are saying it should be as per Declaration of Helsinki. You can also read more about Declaration of Helsinki, but on the whole, it is respect for a person. That's why we have informed consent form. Justice, that benefits and risk should be distributed equally to all the society. And third is justice. So respect for a person, beneficence, and justice. These are the three pillars of Declaration of Helsinki और हमें research इसके according करनी चाहिए. So that is पहला principle कि ethically means that क्या ये trial, क्या ये research सोसाइटी के फेवर में है, इज इट गोइंग टू हेल्प देम, और कोई हार्म तो नहीं कर रही लोगों को. सो दैट इज प्रिंसिपल नंबर 1. So principle number 2 is that very easy is that जो why it's saying foreseeable as per your theory, as per your literature search, as per your past experience जो अभी आपने किया है उस नए मॉलिक्यूल के साथ, मे बी एनिमल रिसर्च, मे बी कोई क्लिनिकल स्टडी की है, वो जो आपके बेनिफिट्स, the benefit should be more than your risk anticipated, because as of now you have not done the whole research. You can just anticipate कि yes ये benefit हो सकते हैं, कि ये अगर वैक्सीन है, these many antibodies this will make in your body, and this is how long it give you a protection. So those benefits should be much, much more than the risk. Like maybe there is a slight fever if you're taking a vaccination for a first day. That may be one of the risk, maybe a little headache or something like that. On the whole, benefit should be much, much more than risk. Now, I'll link it to another thing. How about when the drug is in the market? It is selling in the pharmacy stores. Then that's why we are having pharmacovigilance program. Pharmacovigilance is the program which help to maintain this occasion that benefit is always more than risk. So that's the principle number 2. It's a guiding principle. Based on this principle only, we do our whole research. Now, principle number 3 of GCP is that right, safety, and well-being. This should be, you should always remember. This should be a go-to word when someone is asking about the subject in the trial. So all the research participants who are participating in clinical trial, their rights, their safety and well-being should be protected. There should be no instance where they are harmed, like we have seen in the historical evolution, is that how these guidelines are evolved over the time, that Nazis trial, subjects, they were harmed intentionally. Here, if the researchers are having slightest clue that, oh, this may harm patient, harm in the sense there are side effects because that is compromise to health of the patient, or their rights and their well-being, that should not be impacted. So they should be protected because their interest should prevail over the interest of science and society. These principles are very interesting as well. Or what is another principle? Another principle is that when you are starting new trial, when you are starting new research, all the available non-clinical and clinical, and non-clinical, if there is any animal related trial information is available, animal studies you can say, or lab studies. Clinical, maybe there are some small clinical study, it may be a disease burden, right? All that information should be available on investigational product, just so that it can support the new clinical trial. So in nutshell, you can say that already whatever research you have done on this new molecule, that should be available. Number 5 principle, that clinical trial that you are planning, new trial that you are planning, new research that you're planning, it should be scientifically sound. What do you mean by scientifically sound? It means that you should have a thorough idea that आप करना क्या चाहते हो इस research में. It's not like you have a half knowledge and you have started and you don't know what to do in this research. And that's why they are saying that the protocol of the research should be very detailed. It should be so detailed that suppose I am reading it, I should be able to follow it, like what it is saying. Protocol is nothing. Protocol is plan of your study. Plan of your research is protocol. Now, 6th principle is that ethics committee should be approving your research. And now we know that this is the importance of ethics committee. Ethics committee, again, that they're looking into right, safety, well-being of the subject. So these ethics committee, where is their location? Just you can also leave a comment in a chat box. Where is the location of ethics committee? They are at sites, hospitals, right? So they can oversee the progress of a research. So not only that, before you start your research, your protocol is plan of your research, and other document like informed consent form, they should be approved by ethics committee. Ethics committee will be looking into very questions that are related to patient, like why you are taking this much of blood sample. If there is some compensation, they will be looking into it. If there is a injury, who is going to pay for that, right? If medical care is needed during trial, who is going to look after the patient? All these important aspects, those are related to a patient, are looked by ethics committee. Now, number 7 principle. 7 principle says that medical care within the clinical trial should be given by qualified physician or a dentist as appropriate. So, only qualified licensed physicians, they should be giving a medical care to a patient in a clinical trial. Now, this is the reason if the trials are pediatric, pediatricians are involved. And if it's a cardiac trial, cardiologist will be involved because the medical care should be given by expert. Now, 8th principle is that this is the reason we all, emphasize so much on a training part, GCP training part. That is saying that each individual who is working in a clinical trial, they should be qualified by education, training, and experience. This, and even when you start your job, you have to do the refreshers of GCP. So GCP by themselves is saying that all the staff which is working in a clinical trial, one, they should be qualified by education. Their licenses, our degrees, training, and experience. Training is that we done a GCP training, few students do that certification training, all that experience that we gain while doing the work. So all these 3 important aspects, GCP by themselves, uh, putting a lot of emphasis. And this principle is so important if there is any audit, any inspection. I have seen that first thing they ask is show us the, CV of your staff, license of your staff. Another important principle which has been originated after Nazi's trial is that informed consent should be freely given. See, it has 2 parts. One is informed, that you should be informing to a patient about that it is a research, it is a trial. Consent is agreement. So the patient should give informed consent freely. There should be no pressure. There should be no, bribe that if you are participating, you may get money, you may get this benefit, that benefit. In that way, they should not be influenced. So that is GCP principle number 9. And if we fail to follow this principle, then it will be a violation. 10th principle is that related to, earlier one of the principles, that see, now you are doing a clinical trial. In clinical research, you will be collecting so much of data. Understand? So if a patient is coming, you are taking a vitals, you are temperature measure कर रहे हो, आप उनको medicine दे रहे हो, lot many things are happening. Patient को side effect हो गया, उसने report किया. So all that information should be first of all recorded. Suppose nurse has taken a temperature reading 1.1101. If she has not recorded, that will lose its significance. No important. And handled. Okay, you have taken a reading. Have you entered in the computer in a right form, right case report form? And how it is protected, stored, backup is taken or not, so that you can interpret this data in a right way. So if you see these GCP principle, they are very logical. They are just trying to help us do our research in a better way. So this principle applies to all record referred guideline, irrespective of type, what type of medium you are using to record the data. These days, mostly we are doing in online. Another is 11 number principle, the confidentiality of the record should be protected. So, because patient, they are sharing lot many information about their, that can be a personal also, their health related also, maybe they are not interested to share with anyone. That will be protected. And that is the reason you don't use the name in your, you say that research of any person, say there is a name Aman, then you will be giving a number like 246. So instead of name, you will be giving them numbers. That is protecting confidentiality. Or you will be masking the some information. Masking is like blackout kar diya. No one will be able to read that information. Like that, that is known as a masking, right? So that should be protected. That is GCP number 11. 12th number principle is, now we are doing a research on a new molecule, that is a new investigational product. That's why it is known as the investigational product. We are investigating, we don't know about it. But what GCP principle is expecting from us is that it should be manufactured as per good manufacturing practices. And this should not be, there should not be any issue in the manufacturing. So good manufacturing practices is altogether different guideline. You can go through it, but main is it should be protected. It should be manufactured, sorry, as per GMP. Now, the last principle is that, okay, we are saying so much. There should be some system or procedure where you can ensure the quality of the trial. How you will show the quality of the trial? Like, okay, जो आपने data collect किया है, जो आपने readings ली है, जो research protocol में जैसा plan लिखा है, आपने वैसा ही किया क्या? So therefore that you are always having QA and QC. You have these two things, QA and QC. So that's what principle number 13 is speaking. QA, example of QA is auditing. That's why clinical trials are audited. Example of QC is monitoring. Monitors, that they come and they see all your record, that if you have collected data correctly or not. They verify each and every record. So that's all about 13 GCP principle. I hope these are very useful for you. You can leave a comment for us, to if you are having some question. So thank you so much.
Subscribe, rise and shine.